The Mets made a trade today. They have acquired center fielder Jose Siri from the Rays for reliever Eric Orze. Siri has some power, but more importantly, is a very good defensive center fielder. Like this trade, Will, is Siri projected to be the Mets starting center fielder next year?
Yeah, I like this trade too. And when I look at the roster, he fits that Harrison Bader role. And last year, the Mets had to pay a premium for that, right? It was $10+ million for 1 year of Harrison Bader. Here with Jose Siri, they get somebody who's under club control for a few years, still arbitration eligible, meaning his dollar figure is pretty low for somebody who provides elite defense and is a good base runner. So yeah, I see him in center field along with Tyrone Taylor, both of those guys playing that position. But Tyrone Taylor, he's coming off with 2 offseason surgeries. He can play multiple positions, and between the two of them, Siri grades out as the better defender. So I would assume that, it's early, but right now, as things stand, Siri lines up for more playing time in center.
Britt, it was one of the needs the Mets had going into the offseason. They get themselves a center fielder. What'd you think of this trade?
Yeah, this is a savvy move. This is a move that doesn't make huge headlines because we're all so obsessed with Juan Soto and Corbin Burns and all these big stars. But you look back on in June and July and you're like, wow, where would this team be without Jose Siri? I mean, Will mentioned his elite defense, his sprint speed, his arm strength. He's one of the best center fielders in baseball, one of the best defenders in baseball in terms of outs above average. And I know his bat was really poor last year. He was one of the worst hitters statistically by StatCast standards and barrels and things like that. But 2 years ago, he had a really terrific year offensively. If the Mets can find a way to tap into that on top of his defensive prowess, you're really getting a deal here. So I like this move. It's an under-the-radar kind of signing, but it really could help the Mets in terms of saving a little bit of payroll here, as Will mentioned, not having to go out and spend $10 million on a Harrison Bader type. I think this is solid. This is what you're going to see from David Stearns, are these savvy trades, these moves that make the Mets just a little bit better. We saw it last year with the roster depth. He's building that same thing again.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of pop. He's not an all-around offensive player, certainly that batting average last year. But 2 years ago, like Britt was mentioning, I think he hit 25 home runs, which is pretty good. I mean, they don't have Pete Alonso. This does not replace Pete Alonso, but the Mets could always use a little bit more pop. He's got pretty good slug. And right, if you're a good defender who can hit one out of the ballpark every now and then, really can be a difference maker in a game, and the kind of guy who, right, maybe you don't see it when you're just like from the offseason perspective, but day in and day out, you realize that they are making a difference.
Yeah, I like this move a lot. I feel like the Mets outfield is set. You're going to have Nimmo on left, Siri in center, Soto in right.